We call Gen Z detached. We call millennials too sensitive. We call boomers out of touch. But nobody talks about the generation that raised all three. The generation that watched, that waited, that said nothing and did everything. Generation X. They didn't march with signs. They didn't trend on Twitter. They didn't ask for a seat at the table. They just built their own. No participation trophies, no therapy speak, no safety net. Just a generation handed a broken world and told to figure it out. And they did. Quietly, stubbornly, completely. See, while everyone else was making noise, Gen X was making moves. And the weapon they used wasn't rage, wasn't influence, wasn't clout. It was something far more dangerous. Silence. Emotional, deliberate, devastating silence. And today, we're pulling back the curtain on exactly how that silence forged the most resilient, self-reliant, and quietly unstoppable generation to ever walk this earth. Let's talk about Gen X. Born between 1965 and 1980, the last generation to know a world before the internet existed. You didn't grow up with answers at your fingertips. You grew up with encyclopedias, busy signals, and waiting. Waiting for the movie to come on TV, waiting for a letter, waiting for someone to just be home when you called. And then, almost overnight, the world rewired itself. Screens multiplied, everything accelerated, and you had no choice but to keep up with a digital revolution you never asked for. But here's what that made you: unshakably patient, quietly adaptable, tougher than you're given credit for. You bridged two worlds, and that's not a small thing. That's everything. Think about what that actually does to a person when no one comes to fix it for you, when no one validates every feeling, when the world keeps moving whether you're ready or not. You stop waiting to be saved. You become the person who does the saving. Psychologists call it self-reliance, but this wasn't learned in a classroom. This was forged in empty houses after school, in problems nobody helped you solve, in pain you were never told was okay to feel. People mistake that for coldness. They're wrong. That's not coldness. That's what strength looks like before it gets a hashtag. Back then, nobody talked about mental health, so you learned to sit with the pain, alone. Psychology calls that resilience, the ability to bend without breaking. And that's why Gen X carries something rare, a calm, unshakable confidence, not loud, not flashy, deeply rooted. But that resilience came with a hidden cost, one that's quietly affecting Gen X to this day. Do you remember when weekends were just weekends? No notifications, no feeds, no performance, just family dinners where people actually looked at each other, conversations that went nowhere and meant everything. Your brain didn't develop in chaos, it developed in stillness. And that's why Gen X knows something most people have forgotten: who they are when nobody's watching. No likes needed, no validation required. Just a quiet knowing that you are enough. But be honest with yourself for a second. When was the last time you truly felt that stillness again? Every generation got a label, but Gen X got something better. They got both worlds. You remember life before the noise, and you mastered the noise anyway. No generation has ever had to do that. Not before you, not after you. Only you. And while everyone else is overwhelmed, anxious, or addicted to their screen, you just adapt, quietly, effortlessly. That's not luck. That's not accident. That's what growing up between two worlds builds in a person. Calm, capable, completely unshaken. If you're Gen X, drop a black heart below. You deserve to be seen. You were forged in a world that didn't coddle you, and somehow that became your greatest gift. Your calm isn't emptiness, it's controlled power, the kind that can't be taught, can't be bought, can only be lived. So before you go, I want you to sit with something, not a trivia question, not a poll, something real. What part of growing up made you who you are today? Drop it below because your story deserves to be heard. And if this moved something in you, subscribe because we're just getting started. Because Silent Mind isn't just a channel, it's a place where the quiet ones finally find their voice.